Welcome to the Wilson County News. I'm Richard.
I'm John.
Hey, great show for you today. We wanted to let you know that Highway 25 going to and coming out of Carthage is open.
Open.
Still took 2 weeks, but it is open now. They said they finished 3 weeks early. The thing was they hired some contract is what they did to get it cleaned up.
I think they pulled up there the way you talk because you were there, right? They kind of looked at it and went, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah. Also, a crane fell on a car over at 109 where they're working on the bridge. Wilson County immigrants, Troop 360 goes to Philmont. Yeah. City voted down subdivision on a cold case from 1997. Residents see burglary and call police. There have been cases of rabies in Wilson County. But first, come Memorial Day, tomorrow, they're going to have a event at the city courthouse.
That's right.
And they're going to add a name to the monuments.
That's right. And those are new monuments there, right?
Yes.
Those are new ones, yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Jim Henderson. And it was for the ultimate sacrifice. And
on this for the 60th anniversary or something
yes,
like that? Okay.
60th anniversry of the Korean War.
The Chozon Reservoir. Those guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. and they're going to have a speaker from that area to talk about it.
The Chozon Feud. Okay.
Well, John, what about rabies? I mean,
look, they don't get rabies so much in dogs anymore because we vaccinate against it. But there has already been some breakouts, of course, and mainly skunks and any animals that are out in the wild. They can get it, and it really is. They say it's from a bite, but it's really from saliva. So here's the deal, really quick. It lodges in the base of the brain, and that's why if you get bit by a dog, they have to take the dog, put it down, cut its head off, and send it out so they can do the testing to see if the animal had rabies in the first place. It is a serious, serious thing. If people, that's why they'll start the medication on a person and right away if they do get bit. You know. Yeah,
and if they if they get bit, a lot of times they'll give them the shots.
They'll start the shots right in the stomach.
If you don't, it's 100% fatal.
That's fatal. That's right, and it really is bad.
And so that's and like you said, the bats, skunks, possums, stuff like that is what's transmitting.
Right, and let me just tell you one thing. If coons or skunks or anything are out during the day, daylight hours, and those are the ones you want to be careful of because they're most likely they aren't right. And if you got it, you'd know because you'd start drooling at the mouth and stuff like that. It's true. Yeah, that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it. Don't take a chance. If you get bit and you think that it may, you need to get your butt in there and just start on the shots, even though they're in the stomach and they're.
Yeah, if you get bit by any wild animal, you need to take that very seriously.
Very seriously. Yeah.
Also, residents in Lebanon, Tennessee, reported what they thought was suspicious activity around 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Last Saturday.
Now that's what you call a watch. When your neighborhood watches like that, and they look, hey, these guys had a bunch of stuff, right, Richard?
Yeah, they found that Mr. Garland, 23 of Lebanon, had a pill bottle as well as items police believe were stolen. They contacted the owners and who confirmed what they were missing: laptops, found purses, and stuff that were in people's cars.
Yeah, and that was right on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is right near Sonic, right? I mean,
get the right around the corner from Sonic.
Yeah,
sure
right
was.
Around the corner from Sonic. Heck yeah! But anyway, the police got him, and
they also found that he had an outstanding warrant. And was on probation too, so they got him on violation of probation also.
They let him out of jail and then just go back and they have to do the same things all over again. Oh man, alive! I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, so it's a good thing that the people were actually awake when all this was taken care of. There's no telling where he had been before.
That's right.
And who he had stolen from.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what a neighborhood watch should do.
Right.
That's really what their game is, and it works. Just got to be diligent.
Yep. Well, we'll be right back.
Are you having a hard time seeing, climbing stairs, keeping up with your children or grandchildren? How's your memory? Are you eating right? Do your supplements work? How do you know? Our biophotonic scanner will show you your antioxidant levels. Call today for a scan. Mention this ad and it's free, no obligation. 615-598-4675.
Let's face it, the economy is terrible. Here's a chance to make an extra $1,400 a month. Who couldn't use that?
It's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I. It's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I. It's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. Rappers in my city mad praying, wishing I retired. Cause it's the movement. I told y'all, Jonesy, Jersey.
The City Cafe East is the best kept lunch secret in Nashville. If you're starving and want real home cooked food, this is the place. Folks, this is the best meat and three in Nashville. Chef George prepares mouth-watering specials every day. Choose from baked chicken, pork chops, turkey and dressing, and of course, the best roast beef anywhere. The City Cafe East, the best meat and three in town, is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 2:30 for your convenience. City Cafe East, 1455 Lebanon Pike at Spence Lane. The way cooking should be.
This week's Most Wanted. Well, there's not one this week. They actually captured the one that we had last week. So that particular person is off the street. The police did find them.
Yep.
So they just noticed, gave us a notification that, hey, they caught the one that we put on there. So, and it was in the Lebanon Democrat for last week. That's right. It
was in the Lebanon Democrat also. That's right.
So, but right now, there's a cold case from 1997, and there's been some indictments for this. It was
16 years, huh?
Yeah, in murder in Davidson County. And Mr. Clemens, 37 of Lebanon, is accused of killing 18-year-old Mr. Peak on Forest Ridge Way in Hermitage. That many years ago. And so now...
Boy, talk about a cold case.
Yeah.
Tells you they're diligent, and that's what it takes a lot of times, doesn't it? You just got to be diligent.
Diligent on it, keep pursuing it. So, but you know, people really worry about cold cases because it can go completely dead and not find anything. And this is from 97.
And they arrested him on Toshiba Drive.
Yeah.
Good job.
But he was jailed Monday with a $300,000 bond. And he's supposed to be in court last Wednesday, or this Wednesday, so we'll just find out what's going on.
Yeah, we'll just have to keep going on it.
Okay, there was a group that of homeowners that had some property in the neighborhood that sold. It was 10 acres. The person that bought the property wanted to put 20 homes on it, so they had to go. It went in front of the planning commission.
That's right.
They approved it, but then it had to go in front of the city commission, and they turned it down. And what it was just that the neighbors that were in that area got together.
That's right.
And went up and protested because most of the neighbors' houses are on 5-acre lots, and they didn't want one 10-acre parcel to have 20 homes in that one neighborhood.
Right, and I don't blame them. I mean, they went and bought that property for that reason. It was going to be kept that way. And
just from what I heard, Miss Womack that led the thing, she had her P's and Q's.
She did.
So we'll be right back after this. Okay, we know that a lot of people that live in the Middle Tennessee area are immigrants from different parts of the world. A lot of them tend to just come in here and
illegally.
Yeah,
that's right.
And stay that way.
And the government likes that because they want the votes. I'm just being honest. That's why they have not closed the borders. And let me tell you something. I'm just talking about Obama. They've all been doing like this. They promised them back in '80s with Reagan. He promised he was going to close up the border, and he didn't do it either. No. I mean, Clinton didn't do it. Nobody wants to do it.
Right. And so, but anyway, we're going to cover.
Yeah.
We're going to cover two people that came here legally, Mr. Simon Jones and Mr. Louis Brinkman. Thank you. They came from two different parts of the world for two different reasons. The one thing that they have in common is a process by which they became U.S. citizens. Mr. Jones was the cook at Lady Godiva's. And
Godiva.
Godiva.
Yeah, it's hard to read. Yeah.
Well, I'm from Tennessee, so.
And that was at the mill.
Yes, down at the.
He was a cook down there. He's a good cook.
And he also cooked for the Princess Diana. So at one time,
he's a good cook.
Yeah, and so he has spent quite a bit of money, between $25,000 and $30,000. What he did was kept renewing visas, then got a green card, and then was able to get his citizenship.
But the other guy was a smarter guy, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Mr. Brinkman, he was 27. He met his wife on a cruise ship and married her when she happened to be a U.S. citizen. So he got a visa. He had a seaman's visa, which only allows you to be here for 48 hours. Then he got a visa after he married his wife. And then after that, he got a green card and then became...
But he met her on a cruise ship.
Cruise ship, yeah. So they were...
And then they got married.
Yeah.
She's a nurse, right?
Well, I mean, if she married him, she had to have her wits at some point to say, yes, I like you. Or,
I want a man. No, I'm only joking.
We're just picking at him.
Yeah, just picking on people. That's all.
But, yeah, we just want to let you know that going the correct way, it does cost a little bit of money, but it's well appreciated by people that live here.
It really is. And that's just, it's just the way it is. And I just want to say one thing. All these that are still coming into this country, all the illegals, look, the ones that are good people, I don't have a problem with. But these bombings that have started and this stuff that started in Boston and everything like that, it started. It's going to be here now. And this deal that happened in England yesterday, where that guy chopped that up and then walks and gets interviewed on the camera, oh, man, you just begun to see this. Yeah. We're going to pay for it.
Over at 109 at Gallatin, over at the new river bridge they're building, they had a crane fall. The crane fell onto a vehicle.
Right on the front of the car.
Which Mr. Williams, age 60, was driving. I would have probably messed my pants.
No, he went to the hospital, right?
Yes, but it was just minor damage.
Yeah, 2 more foot, and it wouldn't have been that.
Well, it put a crater in the road. And it was about 4 to 5 feet in diameter and roughly a foot to a foot and a half deep.
Yeah.
And it took all day for them to get that crane off the road and then patch the hole.
That's right.
And it was 7 p.m. before it actually opened.
I'll tell you right now.
We'll be right back.
Right after these.
The City Cafe East is the best kept lunch secret in Nashville. If you're starving and want real home cooked food, this is the place. Folks, this is the best meat and 3 in Nashville. Chef George prepares mouth-watering specials every day. Choose from baked chicken, pork chops, turkey and dressing, and of course, the best roast beef anywhere. The City Cafe East, the best meat and 3 in town, is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 2:30 for your convenience. City Cafe East, 1455 Lebanon Pike at Spence Lane. The way cooking should be.
Are you having a hard time seeing, climbing stairs, keeping up with your children or grandchildren? How's your memory? Are you eating right? Do your supplements work? How do you know? Our biophotonic scanner will show you your antioxidant levels. Call today for a scan. Mention this ad and it's free, no obligation. 615-598-4675.
It's the movement. lean on Dr. I. It's the movement. I'ma lean on Dr. I. It's the movement. I'ma lean on Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'ma lean on Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'ma lean on Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'ma lean on Dr. I. I'm hot and I'm on fire. Rappers in my city mad praying, wishing I retired. Cause it's the movement. I told y'all, Jonesy, Jersey.
Let's face it, the economy is terrible. Here's a chance to make an extra $1,400 a month. Who couldn't use that?
Hey, y'all know what time it is, Moondogs? It's time for the Cold Creek Entertainment Report, brought to you by Wolfie's Cyber Lounge and Cold Creek Records. We got another sponsor called Security Pawn up on Noblesville Road, where you can get all your musical and entertainment needs. They're one of my favorite sponsors right there. And the Wilson County news is spreading far and wide around the Highland Rim area. We actually can access 1.7 million people if we're lucky. And we got a couple of extra plugs to pull tonight. One's for the Charlie Horse Band, and they're going to be playing at the Bunga Nut Pig down there in Murfreesboro on Thursday night, the 20th of June, and it starts at 8 o'clock till the fun's over. And the Sidetrack Lounge, they got an open mic night down there on Monday nights where you can come in and pick it up and sing, especially if you're a writer or you got you a guitar. And then they're out there at Nolensville Road and Haywood Lane. Bikini Beach Bar's over there on Antioch Pike, and they'll usually have some music over there on Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons, weather permitting, because it's all out bike. All you bikers, make sure to come. Now then, let's get back over here to Lebanon area, because we've got the Music and Motorsports Festival on June the 1st, 2013, Hot Rod Custom Car Show at the Ag Center on Bad Door Parkway, and the winner is going to receive a recording track with Grease Monkey Records, Both Barrels Promotion and Grease Monkey Magazine. That's going to be real interesting right there. Now, Jimmy's Sports Bar's got Skipper Grace tonight, and every Saturday night and Friday night they got live entertainment down there. Sammy B's is going to be doing These Lucky Guys and Some Girls tonight they'll be there, and on the 31st they're going to have Kelly and Thomas Ellis down there singing some classic oldies. They're a duet from right here in Lebanon, Tennessee. And we always got to open karaoke that goes on over at the Cumberland University for those of you that likes to get out and do some stuff like that. If you ever get down to Fayetteville, Tennessee, they see us down there too, and that's Floyd's on Front Street with JP's All Night Karaoke. Now, we still got Jamming with the General going on right here as the summer goes on. You'll be seeing that. We want you to get down there and support the Chamber of Commerce, and you can load all of your songs that Wolfie's wrote. Now, they're on ReverbNation/WolfieCyberLounge.com. And this is what the artwork for the album looks like right there. Now, you can order the album right through the television station right here, or you can order one at a time off of Reverb Nation. Now, half of that right there, Moondogs, goes to the Heart Foundation. And we want everybody to get a hold of that. They're going as fast as I can have them printed out. And this here's the Happy Hippie wanting to tell you that I remember how things used to be back there in the 60s. They put me in a box and a bag for a long time, and I think we're going to have a reoccurrence of the flower power days. Who loves you? Well, Wolfie loves you. He loves you an awful lot. And Moondogs, we're going to have a brownie eating contest too, so y'all hang tight for that, because the Happy Hippie loves you just like Wolfie.
Hello, I'm Richard. I'm here with Wilson County News at the Mill at the Art Gallery with Miss Harriet Hodges. She is the art instructor for the students that have put their art here to be shown. So, Miss Harriet, is this your first show?
No, this is not the first show we have had. 2 years ago, we had a student show at the gallery at Cumberland University.
And now, how many students did you have at that time?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I had 3 classes of children and 1 adult class.
Okay, so
it's about the same number.
Oh, about the same number
Yes.
as you have in this one?
Yes.
Okay, and you said that you had an adult class at that time.
Yes.
You don't now, correct?
I do not at this time, but I am going to have one in the not too distant future.
Okay, well, can you tell us some about the art that you have displayed here?
There's quite a variety. We have drawings, paintings, some architectural projects, as you can see in the background. And I have a wide range of ages. I have students that range in age from 6 up through adults, and I don't think they would like for me to divulge their ages.
Not as adults,
No.
correct. Now, I understand that you have some students in college now.
Yes, I have several students that were with me last year, and we did not have a show last year, so they were allowed to bring some things to put in this show.
Now,
and they are all in college, different areas.
Now you taught college students, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you have a degree in art yourself?
Yes, I do.
Now, when you went to college and had gotten your art degree, what did you get in right after that, after you got out of college?
My very first job after college, believe it or not, I was a fashion illustrator for a department store. But not long after that, I got into commercial design work, and I designed restaurants and the public areas of hotels. And did that for a number of years, and then I taught for 3 years at a college in Mississippi, and then moved to Tennessee, and I continued to do commercial design work.
So now what got you start teaching children how the techniques of drawing?
Well, it was really quite by accident. A close friend of mine decided to homeschool her 2 daughters, and she had been a nurse by profession and was really having a struggle teaching art projects, and called and asked if I would do a class for homeschool children if she could find several other students. And I told her I had never taught children and had no idea how to teach children. But she was quite insistent, and we decided to give it a try, and I've been doing this ever since, I think about 6 years.
Okay, another thing is, are any of these drawings overdrawn or just colored in, or all these freehand drawings?
These are all original pieces of artwork from the 6-year-old up through the adults, and I've just really been amazed at the quality of the work. I have some really outstanding students.
Well, I also noticed that you've got a puppet theater.
Yes.
Now, did y'all actually use a puppet theater in a...
Yes. I went to Lowe's and commandeered 2 of their largest refrigerator boxes and brought them to my studio, and 2 classes. This was a project for 2 of the classes, and each did a puppet theater, and then we made puppets, and we actually did a performance at the Wilson County Library.
This is Wilson County News at the Mill.
A MtJuliet man was accused of cutting the throat of a dog belonging to a man that he had gotten in an argument with. Isn't that nice? They slit the throat of this 2-year-old German Shepherd and Labrador Retriever. Countryside Animal Hospital performed the surgery. Luckily, he didn't catch the artery, otherwise there would have been no surgery, I can tell you that. The dog had 11 puppies. The man's been charged with aggravated animal cruelty, and he's on bond for $1,250. And the owner of the dog, unfortunately, had to surrender the dog to Lighthouse because he did not have the funds or the ability to cover probably the surgery and everything else that went along with it. Yeah, so that's a bummer. So he loses his dog over that and 11 puppies, I imagine. Anyway. Hey, the police and troopers are going to be out on extra patrols this weekend. beware. If you're going to go over to somebody's place and party or something like that, or you're going to go do something, stay there. Do not drive. And if you're on the water, guess what? The sheriff's department's going to be on the water also. So they're going to be looking for BUIs or whatever they call it. And so you better beware. If you're operating a boat, have somebody else drive it if you're going to be drinking. That's as simple as that, even though, that's what you go to the water for. But you still can't do it. That's just the way it is. And they're going to be conducting a lot of stops. They're putting extra police and police cars on there. So beware of that for sure. Hey, the Lebanon police are looking for a man who they say attacked Mr. Green at Green's Appliance at 106 East Market Street about 2:40 in the afternoon, Thursday is what it would be. And what he did was the black man went in, he started talking to him, and then he pounded him and stole his wallet. And Mr. Green, somebody came in and found him, luckily enough, and helped him up, and they got him to the hospital and all that. But what a shame. I mean, just to go and pick on an old man like that. Man alive. Hey, we got another person we're looking for here. Her name is Tammy Carleen Brinley. Height 5 foot 6 inches, weight 131 pounds. She last was seen at 1110 Edge Hill Drive, Lebanon. She has warrants on violation for parole violation and forgery. If you've seen her or anything like that, call 444-14212, extension 268. Or you can just press 0, whatever's easier for you. Hey, and another thing we have is the police charged a Lebanon man with allegedly having sex with a 15-year-old girl that he had met on the internet. And this guy is 19 years old, and he is a sailor, but he's a Lebanon man. He's from Lebanon. He's in the military. He was in Connecticut at the time. And he's being charged with second-degree rape, and that's a felony misdemeanor, endangering the welfare of a child. But in reality, the government's turning around and telling 15-year-olds, that are still having hormonal problems, and they aren't immature in their decision-making, that all they have to do is not tell their parents, go to the drugstore, pick up a pill, the next morning pill, not tell their parents anything, and that's okay. Wow, isn't that great? They contradict themselves all the time. And it's not the government, it's the people in the government. They're the ones that are corrupt. Every country needs a government. It's just that they need to do the right things, and it's getting worse and worse, and they don't do the right things very long. I mean, if they get voted in, it's not very long before they're corrupted as a rule. And that's just the way it is.
Is Crook Auto Parts just another auto parts? No way! We rebuild starters and alternators. Auto technicians on site, the best parts men in Wilson County. And that means big savings for you. 444-9500, 444-9500.
Hi everyone. Come on in. Welcome to Fiddler's Grove Blacksmith Shop.
How you doing? I'm Dan Pelletier. I'm president here at the Blacksmith Club in Fiddler's Grove. Today we're going to be making a small dragon letter opener. We'll give you a better look at this piece later, but we're going to start forging on this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to forge the nose portion out on it. And, our steels, when it comes out of this heat, about 2,500 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we're going to forge a step for the nose to start. Crisp step is important, so I'm going to take my time forging. So basically, I've already forged out the nose of the dragon. Okay, that's going to be that part of it. Really? Next step, I'm going to reheat this. I pull a tool out called the guillotine. This tool is going to define where the shoulders are on the dragon. show us in the hand. Basically, I have my dragon bit here,
Okay, let me just.
and I've formed two bosses to differentiate the handle from the head and the blade.
He knows you like the cage system, you beat it up in the cage, or you like the overall heat?
I like the overall heat. What I do is I bury my piece in the coal. The cage system is a great system. All the blacksmiths use slightly different. Some like to have an open fire, some like a cave fire, some like to bury their piece. Mine, I'll leave it semi-open, but I change with depending on what I'm doing.
So you use different techniques for different applications.
If I'm welding, a cave is better. So right now my head's a little crooked, so I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. Try to get everything back right in the same plane. Basically, I got everything in the same plane now. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to heat it back here, and I'm going to cut it off about the length of the blade I need.
And you cut it off using the same tool that you was...
I'm going to use it, what they call a cut-off hardy. This is called a hardy cut-off tool. Place it in a vise, put our piece on it, we're going to cut it off. That's a traditional way of cutting steel off for a blacksmith. Now this coal we're using the bituminous coal, and it has a lot of clinker in it. Clinker is a heavy metal that comes out of the coal, and it's slag. It sinks down to the bottom of our firebox. We're blowing air into our fire to try to sustain the heat. As that heavy metal sinks down, it blocks the grate, and we get what we call a clinker blockage. And we have to go in, reach in the fire, and pull the clinker out, which is a heavy metal. Yeah. And we'll show that a little later on as I get problems with the fire. All right. All the sulfur will go up the chimney as green smoke when we first start. Okay, so now we're roughly at 2,000 degrees. We're going to take our piece. We're going to estimate the length of our blade, which we know is going to be, about to feel long. So we're going to mark it. We're going to turn it quarter turn. Mark it again. Turn it quarter turn. Make sure we keep ourselves all lined up. Mark it. Turn it quarter turn again. Mark it. Now we're going to cut it most of the way through. Now the piece is going to fall off on the floor just fine. Take our tongs and we're going to go back to the fire. And we're going to take our tool out of the amp and take it from.
Okay.
So basically we have our dragon head, a section for the handle, and a section for the blade.
Let me zoom in on that.
Okay? The next stage, we're going to force the blade out. It's going to take a few minutes to heat up here, but you can use a smaller hammer. This is a handmade hammer I made here in the blacksmith shop, 88-ounce hammer. It's a very heavy hammer, and it makes short work of making a knife. Steel, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes, it is, and it's quenched in a special solution called Super Quench, which I'll explain to you in a minute here. Move over to my lighter hammer to do some finesse work. This is a 3-pound hammer. And I'm going to start forging this to a nice shape, slowly. And we're going to go back for some more heat. Hammering the edges gets the blade straight, but it also gives an advantage of packing the iron, the steel molecules, to give you a stronger, tighter edge. So you get a better knife if you pack your edges.
Did you run over there?
Yeah, I let him. blade is starting to take its shape slowly. Okay? Yeah, so picking out, this is probably around 2,000 right here, which is fine, which is perfectly great for forging. Okay? Now I'm concentrating on thinning out my blade and keeping it center of my boss on my knife and my hand.
Trying to keep it balanced.
Yes, I got to keep the handle and the knife blade in line with each other. Right now it's starting to go to the left a little bit. The next heat is going to get corrected. All right. Like I said, it's lost its shape a little bit. It's not a concern. The next heat is going to get drawn out further.
Bring it out once you need it.
We'll bring it back to.
About how long are you trying to? Is this going to turn out?
It's going to be probably very close to this one here.
See that right there. It's coming from raw steel straight to this right here.
Tool steel requires a lot more work than the metal. All right. So now I start working more towards the edges. Within the edges, to leave the center raised. So I'm working my hammer at an angle.
So you angle your hammer, slap it down.
That's correct. And I'm going to go back and pack my edge again. Yep, and it's also packing them and making them tougher and harder. I don't want to work past that temperature. That's about maybe 1,000 degrees. It's real light. You barely see the red. We'll start developing cracks if we work any colder than that. So we want to maintain our temperature in those forging ranges, 1,700 to maybe 2,200 degrees. Okay, it's a little bit wider than I like, so I'm going to pack it a little more. And I'm going to work my edges again. I'm going to go to the edge of the angle and work my hand. I'm trying to work to get a raised line in the center of that blade.
Want to center that blade thicker than the other.
Exactly. Later when we go back to grind this blade out, we'll have a nice thick center. Alright, I'm going to bring one more heat, and I'm not going to forge it too much thinner than what it is right now. I got to leave myself some room to grind. Okay, I'm going to grind off a little bit of material on the second of the line. So I'm going to get one more heat and bring it as close to the shape as I can, and I'm going to quit on the blade. All right?
You grind it the rest of the way to the shape.
Exactly. So a little grinding. Normally the grinding is done with a belt sander. A lot of people use a flat wheel on a belt grind, a little 4-inch grinder that don't have the big equipment. So very inexpensive ways of doing this. It doesn't have to be expensive equipment. Alright, so for this final finish part here, I want to be sure that I'm straight in the center of my blade. I make my small corrections here, so I'm centered. Once I'm centered, then I really care about a little bit on the shape. Make sure my points are right.
So this is really the most delicate part of the process, is the final forge.
Basically, yes. Okay, now I have a dead straight blade, if you look at that, with my center of my stock here. That's what I'm looking for. And I have a fairly pleasing shape, okay? I am going to grind a little bit on that, so I'm going to lose a little bit of the width and change the angle a little bit, but it'll be pretty close to that. The next step we're going to do, we're going to take the dragon head and we're going to start shaping his eyes, his mouth, and his features to make him look like a dragon, all right? So I'm going to turn this blade around, put him head first in the fire. The features on the Dragon, you basically need what we call a slitting chisel. Notice the chisel is slightly rounded. It doesn't leave edge marks in pieces, and it's also very, very high angle. It's not like a 45-degree cold cut chisel. It's a high angle, so it's a slitting chisel. It's made to cut hot steel. The next tool we're going to use, or either one, is going to be a small center punch, okay? And the third tool we need is what we call an eye punch. It's basically a punch that we filed flat, heated up, and drove a center punch into it. They're very simple to make tools. Nothing special. If you don't have one of these, you can use a regular old nail set and make an eye punch for small work, all right?
Okay.
So these are very basic tools, and when we pull it out of the fire, we're going to put it in the vise and we're going to start cutting it. The first section I'm going to do, I'm going to cut his mouth. I'm going to take him over to the vise. I'm going to clamp him in. Take my chisel, and I'm going to look at his mouth as best as I can. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to cut that hot metal. Okay? I'm going to take my small center punch while I still have some heat. I'm going to give him some nostrils. I'll give him some eyes real quick, just the beginning of eyes. Okay, and I'm out of heat, so I got to go back and get another heat. But in one heat, I got the beginning of his eyes, his nostrils, and his mouth. All right? All right, ready? All righty. We're going to go back in the vise as close as possible to the same position again, in case we made any marks. Now we're going to take our eye punch that we figured, and we're going to try to center up on those eyes we made and put them down in there. Now we'll take our little cutter again, and we're going to give him some character lines. All right. Basically, we have that little dragon head there. Now, he's a little twisted, so we're going to have to make some corrections.
Okay. Front end shot of him.
All right. Now, see how I have a minor twist in there? I can correct that one of two ways. When I do my twist, I'll just stop where I need it. Since he's pretty straight, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have to correct anything special. But if he was too far out of angle, I would take my wooden mallet and put him on a wooden stump, and I would straighten him this way. It wouldn't damage any of the decorations I just created.
So when you put it on wood, it actually doesn't bend the metal any further.
That's correct. Okay. If you want to see what I'm talking about, I'll take a wooden mallet like this, and pour this stump behind you here, and it's going to smoke a little. I'll straighten them out. But we'll go over to a wooden stump, and we can actually work on them hot. And I can hit that figure, and I'd have to get more heat to get them straight, really straight. But I can hammer on that and not damage any of the detail work.
So the steel is stronger than the wood, so therefore you're not going to mess up any of the detail work.
But yet it'll twist.
It'll still shape and twist.
That is correct. Like if my blade was crooked, I could take my blade, put it on here, and hammer on my blade without doing any damage to it. But the critical part is, you know, once you've done, especially a twist, when we twist this, if it's crooked, definitely we're going to use this to straighten it out. So the next step is we're going to go and we're going to twist this the handle to give it the decorative touch. All right.
All right.
This over here, this is just a homemade tool. It's an adjustable wrench with a handle well done. We use it so we can have both hands so we can twist evenly. Okay. If you use just one hand with a wrench, you tend to want to bend your piece over to the left or right. By using both hands, you have an equal pressure on the part, and you can get a nice even twist without bending it one way or the other.
Okay, that's good to know.
That's a good little tip.
And y'all make these yourself?
Yes. That's correct. They're homemade here in the shop, and it's a very inexpensive pair. All right. We're going to grab it with our twisting wrench again as close as we can to the top of the square, and we're going to twist it. We're going to try to use a nice even pressure, and I got to remember to stop with the head in line with the blade, so that it lays nice on the table. All right.
That's beautiful.
And that gives it a really pretty look. Now we can clean some of that oxidation off of here while we're in the vise. We can, if you want, we can work his mouth a little bit more if we want. Heat up a chisel. Since I see it's a little closed to my taste, I've got some time to work a little bit.
You like to open the mouth up a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. That's all. I just wanted to clean it up a little. All right. Now I'm going to look at it, make sure that everything's fairly straight and in line, and it looks pretty good. And the next step, I'm just going to quench it. And because it is a mild steel, I'm not worried about cracking or anything of that nature. So I'm just going to dip it right in the water. All right. Clean that up a little bit.
It cools down that fast for you to be able to hold it.
Yes. The way a blacksmith knows that he can grab a piece with his hands like that, if it holds water, you know it's up to 212 degrees, okay?
Yeah.
If it starts, see how this piece is smoking the water off real quick here? Yeah. That piece is probably, 200 degrees. It's not a boiling point, but it's hard to hold.
Down here
but this is holding water.
So you have to touch that with this up here. A lot harder.
So, it's just a quick way to tell it. Basically, after polishing, we'll use a wire wheel on that to polish it up, and then we'll grind the blade. And after we grind it, finish grinding, and the wire wheeling, we'll put a coat of polyurethane or something to keep it from rusting. And that's basically a simple little letter opener. Now, I made the guy different. I always make the Dragon different every time to make them individual.
Everything's unique.
It's unique, one of a kind.
You can't find it anywhere else like this.
Exactly. Now, if you come over here real quick, I'm going to show you what a clinker is. Because after working in the fire for a while, this starts blocking up the oxygen in our fire. What happens is all that heavy metal goes to the bottom of the fire. Okay? Now this metal here is what we call clinker. This is basically...
That's actually carbon or metal?
No, that's slag and glass and all kinds of impurities that are in the coal that sink to the bottom. It will not burn, and it blocks the air grate coming up, and that's what destroys our fire. We can't weld in a fire that has this because it steals temperature. This actually uses heat to heat it up, so it actually ruins
takes away from your fire.
Exactly, it ruins the quality of our fire. Okay. So it's very important for us to keep that clean and get as much of this out as we can. And it's a little bit of an art to find it and pick it out, but once you learn how to do it, you keep your fire clean.
Well, I can see it looks different compared to your coal ash that's in there.
Yes. This over here is a piece of coal. Yeah. Okay.
Comparatively, you can tell that sort of looks like it has some glass or molten stuff in there compared to the coal.
And once we cool that down, you'll see it has a glassy finish. I'll cool a piece of it down for you. Actually, I'll grab a piece that's already cold. See how it has a glassy, molten texture to it?
Yeah.
That's all the impurities that are in coal. And that's basically what they call slag or clinker, okay? And what we use is a bituminous coal. It's a soft coal, which is in these buckets here. This soft coal, we take it, we bring it into the fire slowly. As we bring it into the fire, it converts to coke. Coke is our fuel. Coke is a version of charcoal. In other words, if you take wood and you burn it, you get charcoal, okay? You take coal, you convert it, you get coke, all right? And that is our fuel. Coke is a clean burning, high temperature fuel, and that's what we use to make our fires. Okay. Okay? And that's not all I have for you there.
And this right here, there's no use for that. That's just pretty much discarded.
That's discarded, that's correct. That becomes landfill.
It becomes landfill.
Yes,
okay.
They used to pave roads with it in the old days. No more.
No more.
No more. It's just it's basically a waste product.
Well, I appreciate you showing us how to do this.
All right.
Thank you, Daniel Pellett, here for showing us how to do this, and look forward to seeing more later on in the future.
Thanks for coming out. You're always welcome to come back whenever you'd like to.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.